Yeah, hi everyone. Hope you're well and happy wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is. Could be breakfast time, could be dinner time. There is no time. Sometimes you are hungry though, and you call it breakfast because it breaks the fast, or you call it dinner or lunch or whatever. But it's just feeding the body fuel, isn't it? Like medicine, giving ourselves medicine so that we can have some physical strength. And so today, we'll continue, obviously, talking about, or comes under the title of practice or studying, practicing, and sharing the pure Dharma with pure intentions. Subtitle, Three Principles of the Path, Genuine Renunciation, Bodhicitta, and Wisdom of Emptiness. And of course, we've utilized my book for the last, or more than a year, and started out actually not giving much commentary on the teachings within or therein, but over time I started to expand upon them. And so anyway, we're up to the last one. So as you know, it's teaching number 50 or quote number 50 with explanation number 50 out of 50. And I started giving a little bit of commentary on this last week, and we'll continue to do so. Like I mentioned last week, probably 3 weeks of it or something like that. But what I've done is actually, I'll read to you before we do chanting. I actually read to you the quote, which comes from the Dharma song, Everything. It's actually the chorus of that song. But I've accessed also, and actually put it on Facebook 2 days ago, or I think yesterday. And it's an explanation or a commentary on the whole song, of which I actually put together for a website, a temple website in the USA, a few years ago now. And I remembered that I'd done that, so I printed myself out a copy, and you can also do likewise. Like I said, I put it on Facebook for your benefit, and like that. So I'll actually work off, rather than just working off the chorus and the commentary on the chorus, I'll actually work off the whole song. And so we've done it before, like I mentioned, during different times when we've taught on the wisdom of emptiness, like for instance, the sixth paramita, perfection of wisdom, during the sixth paramita commentary, during the eighth verse in the eighth verse of thought transformation commentary, and other times too. So, but I'll do it again. And like I said to you last week, I'll use the same examples. If I come up with new ones that are as good as those same examples, then I'll introduce them to you. But I'm not just going to make stuff up. Just, if it's not as good as an example, for instance. So I thought just a little bit different order today. And I'll put the book down and work off the printout. Okay, so everything comes and goes, no space, no time. No thing knows everything. Just let go. Don't hang on to the past. No one owns anything. Explanation. The quote or teaching. Everything comes and goes, no space, no time, no thing knows everything. Just let go. Don't hang on to the past. No one owns anything. It's actually the lyrics of the chorus of a Dharma song I wrote in 2002 called Everything, which is a song about impermanence and emptiness. It was inspired by a verse spoken by the Buddha in the Mahayana Prajnaparamita Vajracchedika Sutra, Great Vehicle, Perfection of Wisdom, Diamond Cutter Scripture, which is part of the Prajnaparamita, or Perfection of Wisdom, Sutra collection. It is popularly known as the Diamond Sutra. The song appears on the Birth of the Buddha CD that I recorded with Dharma brother Roger McLaughlin in 2010. Here's a very brief explanation of these words. Everything. All conditioned mental and physical phenomena. Comes and goes. Arises and ceases, always becoming something else, dependent on cause and effect. No space, no time. Nothing exists independently. All things are interdependent. No thing knows everything, and with no self-identity. Just let go. Don't be attached to anything. Don't hang on to the past. Live in the present moment. No one owns anything, for there is nothing permanent to own anyway, nor a permanent self who owns anything. I hope these words are somewhat helpful in clarifying the meaning of this profoundly deep subject. Also, it may be helpful to know that one way to apply this teaching to everyday life is for us not to hang on to our worries and troubles, or to our likes and dislikes, and not to take anything personally. This way, we allow ourselves the freedom to live in the present. Enjoy yourself on your journey of discovery. Enjoy yourself on your journey to realizing the truth, but don't attach to it. Okay, so I think put the book down now, and we can do some chanting. So a little bit of variety in the format today for you. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami, Tatayampi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tatayampi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Tatayampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from their happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata gate gate parasam gate bodhisoha. Tayata gate parasam gate bodhisoha. Tayata gate parasam gate Bodhisoha. So, time for some meditation. Get yourself comfortable, position that suits you to help you keep your mind upright, bright and clear mind. And we will release the tension from the body initially. So after you've got yourself in a nice position, bring your mind inside the body and release the tension from the bottom to the top. So all around your feet and ankles, and the lower leg from the knees down. And the upper legs, right to the midsection. Now work your way to releasing the tension from your upper torso, the lower part first. Work your way up to the middle and the upper part. Right up between the neck and shoulders, as well as your shoulders. And work your way down your arm, the upper arm to the elbows. And the forearm right to the tips of your fingers. Now bring your focus up to your neck and release the tension from all around your head, right to the top of your head. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw or frowning. Finally, the crown of your head. And now scan your body briefly to see if there's any leftover tension that you're able to release, and if there is, do so. When you've completed this, bring your focus initially to the tip of your nose and follow the feeling of the breath as you breathe in your nose all the way into your lungs, then back out your nose again, breathing in and breathing out. Apart from being here physically, that's all you have to do physically is breathe right now. And mentally, just focusing on the feeling of the breath. And if you become distracted or dull-minded, then replace your mind back onto your breath, brightly, clearly, without trying too hard, but also don't try too little. Breathing in and breathing out. If thoughts arise, don't cling to them. Don't grasp at them. Don't try to force them away either, or deny them. But simply let them go as you replace your mind back onto your breath. If your mind starts to become dull or sleepy, and as alluded to before, then focus on your breath more brightly. You can also add the technique of counting the breaths to help you focus on the breath. But don't count past 10. So one in-breath and one out-breath is 1, and so on. And if you get distracted on the way towards 10, then go back to 1 at that time. I'll do a little bit more recitation of some verses, scripture as well, as we start to engage in this breath meditation. Don't listen Even though it's going to be there, the noise. Oh, not noise really, is it? The recitation or chanting. Then keep focusing on your breath. Warrior, compassionate I, one who is the treasure of compassion, I request you, please listen to me. Please guide myself, mothers and fathers in all six realms to be free quickly from the great ocean of samsara. I request the vast and profound peerless awakening mind may grow. With the tear of your great compassion, please cleanse all karmas and delusion. Please lead with your hand of compassion me and my greatest to all fields of bliss. Please Amitabha and Avalokiteshvara through all my lives be virtuous friends. Show well the undeceptive pure path and quickly place us in Buddhist state. 8 verses of thought transformation. With the wish to attain enlightenment for the welfare of all sentient beings who are more precious than a wish-fulfilling jewel, I will constantly practice holding them dear. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Whenever I'm with others, I will practice seeing myself as the lowest of all, and from the very depth of my heart, I will respectfully hold others as supreme. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. In all actions, I will examine my mind. In the moment a disturbing attitude arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly confront and avert it. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Whenever I meet a person of bad nature who is overwhelmed by negative energy and intense suffering, I will hold such a rare one dear, as if I have found a precious treasure. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. When others out of jealousy mistreat me with slander, abuse, and so on, I will practice accepting the defeat and offer the victory to them. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. When someone I have benefited and whom I've placed great trust hurts me very badly, I will practice seeing that person as my supreme teacher. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. In short, I will offer directly and indirectly every benefit and happiness to all beings, my mothers, and in secret I will take upon myself all their harmful actions and sufferings. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Without these practices being defiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, by perceiving all phenomena as illusory, I will practice without grasping to release all beings from the bondage of the disturbing, unsubdued mind and karma. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. From the Mahaprajna Paramita Vajracchedika Sutra, from the Diamond Cutter Perfection of Wisdom Scripture. Subhuti, what do you think? Can the Tathagata be perceived by the 32 marks of a great man? No, well-honored one, the Tathagata may not be perceived thereby. Correct, Subhuti, for if the Tathagata were to be perceived by such marks, any great imperial ruler would be the same as the Tathagata. Then the Buddha uttered this verse. Who sees me by form, who seeks me by sound, perverted eyes, footsteps upon the way, he cannot perceive the Tathagata. There's nothing from the past to hang on to, nothing from the present to hang on to, nothing from the future we can yet grasp. So now you can feel very pleased with yourself. Give yourself a spiritual pat on the back. A well done. A sadhu. Rejoice. In Tibetan, a lekso, which means well done. And fill yourself with universal loving kindness. You can utilize the visualization technique of filling your whole being with the white light, representing the universal loving kindness, which is not separate from compassion, universal compassion, and universal joy or empathetic joy, and equanimity. And of course, being loving, kind, being compassionate, and so on also includes being generous and moral, patient, enthusiastically making great effort in the right direction, and concentration, and a certain level of wisdom. Wisdom that is realized by practicing the wisdom tool of hearing, wisdom that is realized by utilizing the wisdom tool of contemplation, and wisdom that is realized by practicing meditation, absorbing your mind with true insight, wisdom. You filled yourself with so much loving kindness now, and the white light now overflows and radiates outwards, initially to your loved ones, family, and friends, filling them with the universal loving kindness too. And also to strangers, and to those you find difficult or regard as enemies, filling all of these people with the universal loving kindness, wishing that they are happy, free from suffering, and are peaceful. And now beyond human beings alone, to all living beings now, we'll start to utilize this technique of increasing the distance that our loving kindness is radiated out, initially around your immediate area, which could include just your house, or if it's an apartment or flat, just around the area there, gardens or whatever, or your suburb even. Up to you how far you want to go with it. To all of the living beings, like I said, no exception. To the beings you know about, the ones you don't know about. So in one sense, you could say all sentient beings, but you could also say every single sentient being too, not excluding any. The beings that live on the land or in the waters, fly through the air, whether they're born from wombs, eggs, moisture, or through transformation, whether they have a body that we can perceive or not. You're now increasing distance-wise throughout your whole state or county. And all of the states and counties throughout your whole country. And all of the countries throughout the world. Those you have an affinity towards, those that you're indifferent towards, and those that for whatever reason you have some negative feelings towards. And have your loving kindness pervade throughout all of the oceans, etc., down to the core of the earth and the outermost atmosphere, until your loving kindness pervades throughout this whole planet and its atmosphere. Now throughout the whole solar system and galaxy, universe, throughout infinite space. And also be present here and now to recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious Bodhicitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of Shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. Okay, so like I said, I'll first of all read to you. Obviously, some parts are the same as or pretty similar to what I read to you before. But this is the commentary on the meaning of my everything song. Like I said, I put this one together. In other words, put the two teachings together, the verses and the chorus together, for that website in the US, the temple website. That I think I presented something like about I can't even remember, but something like about 30 teachings, and including some music as well. So everything is a Dharma song I wrote in 2002 about impermanence, anicca, and emptiness, shunyata. It was inspired by a verse spoken by the Buddha in the Mahayana Prajna Paramita Vajracchedika Sutra, the great vehicle perfection of wisdom diamond cutter scripture. You could also know it as the diamond cutter perfection of wisdom scripture, which is probably better, even though the way that I translated it the first time there is actually literal translation. But probably you'd put diamond cutter first, which is part of the Prajnaparamita Perfection of Wisdom Sutra collection. It is popularly known as the Diamond Sutra. The song appears on the Birth of the Buddha CD that I recorded with Dharma brother Roger McLaughlin in 2010. So what else can I say? Can I say anything about that? Oh yeah, a few days ago, I also put on Facebook the actual 30-second chapter of the Diamond Sutra on Facebook. That initially was, I think, either translated or at very least copied and printed, written down by Master Chenta Farshur, my good friend and one of my teachers, and he put it like that, and then I edited it grammatically, not for meaning, but just grammatically, put things in better order and things like that. Okay, and so I put it up there, so you can have a look at that verse or that chapter. There's 32 chapters in this sutra, and it's broken up into 32 chapters, and so the part is basically something like, thus should we think of this fleeting world, the star at dawn and so on, which I'll explain in the song. I added some things to the song, which is in the same spirit of impermanence and emptiness. Okay. So you can have a look if you're inclined to be on Facebook. You can go and have a look there. Okay. And then you can print yourself a copy, up to you. And maybe you can print that verse out, and then you can print out what I put yesterday, the meaning, which is this actually, the commentary on the meaning of my everything song. So here's a very brief explanation of these words. I don't know how much we'll get into it today. There's only 10 minutes left because I spoke out up front, didn't I? So everything, all conditioned mental and physical phenomena, is like a flicker of a lamp, just like the flame of a candle flickering in the wind and not ever remaining the same. The life of a flower. The life of a flower is very brief and in a constant state of flux, dependent on many changing conditions. A star at dawn. When the sun comes up in the morning, the so-called stars that appeared in the night sky disappear. A dewdrop in the sun. The dew or moisture that gathers on grass and other plants overnight evaporates in the warmth of the morning sun. Everything, all conditioned mental and physical phenomena, comes and goes, arises and ceases, always becoming something else, dependent on cause and effect. No space, no time. Nothing exists independently. All things are interdependent. No thing knows everything, and with no self-identity. Let it go. Don't be attached to anything. Don't hang on to the past. Live in the present moment. No one owns anything, for there is nothing permanent to own anyway, nor a permanent self to own anything with. Everything, all conditioned mental and physical phenomena, is like the changing of the tides. The ocean tides are also in a constant state of change. On the coastlines around the world, this results in moments that we note as high tide, low tide, mid tide, etc. Lightning in a summer cloud. As we know, a flash of lightning comes and goes very quickly. A bubble in a stream. As the water of a stream flows over varying depths, it may mix with air and create bubbles, which swiftly pass. A phantom, something that is not real, but is imagined to be real while we are awake. A dream, something that is not real, but is imagined to be real while we are asleep. Thus shall we think of all this fleeting world. This is how we should understand all conditioned mental and physical phenomena. I hope these words are somewhat helpful in clarifying the meaning of this profoundly deep subject. Also, it may be helpful to know that one way to apply this teaching to everyday life is for us not to hang on to our worries and troubles, or to our likes and dislikes, and not to take anything personally. It always makes me smile inside when I read this paragraph that I wrote. Don't take anything personally. It's up to us, isn't it? If we take things personally, we get upset. Or we get puffed up if we like it. So do ourselves a favor and don't take anything personally. There's nothing personal, nothing of a person that is real anyway, ultimately. This way we allow ourselves the freedom to live in the present. Enjoy yourself on your journey of discovery. Enjoy yourself on your journey to realizing the truth, but don't attach to it. And so what I'll do now is I will actually recite the song or read to you the song, and then I'll recite the meanings that I wrote, because it's almost like poetry. Okay, so I think maybe that's a nice thing to do today. Everything is like a flicker of a lamp, the life of a flower, a star at dawn, a dewdrop in the sun. Everything comes and goes, no space, no time. No thing knows everything. Let it go. Don't hang on to the past. No one owns anything. Everything is like the changing of the tides, lightning in a summer cloud, a bubble in a stream, a phantom and a dream. Thus shall we think of all this fleeting world. And the other way to read it is like this. All conditioned mental and physical phenomena are just like the flame of a candle flickering in the wind and not ever remaining the same. And like the life of a flower, it's very brief and in constant state of flux, dependent on many changing conditions. It's like when the sun comes up in the morning, the so-called stars that appeared in the night sky disappear. And the dew or moisture that gathers on grass or other plants overnight evaporates in the warmth of the morning sun. All conditioned mental and physical phenomena arise and cease, always becoming something else, dependent on cause and effect. Nothing exists independently. All things are interdependent, and with no self-identity. Don't be attached to anything. Live in the present moment. For there is nothing permanent to own anyway, nor a permanent self to own anything with. All conditioned mental and physical phenomena are like the ocean tides that are also in a constant state of change. On the coastlines around the world, this results in moments that we notice: high tide, low tide, mid tide. And as we know, a flash of lightning comes and goes very quickly. And everything is just as the water of a stream flows over varying depths, it may mix with air and create bubbles which swiftly pass. It's like something that is not real, that is imagined to be real while we are awake, and something that is not real but imagined to be real while we are asleep. This is how we should understand all conditioned mental and physical phenomena. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Just thought I thought about that. Maybe I thought about doing this the other day. That's why I printed it out. But actually just reading it like that, I just thought about while we were meditating. Okay, so I thought that was a nice way to put it, even though it was a bit awkward in spots for me to read. I would have to sort of, if I did that as a teaching or a poem or whatever, I'd have to rewrite it slightly to join it together better, more fluently, more fluidly. Anyway, so that little, what do you call it, paragraph, it may be helpful to know that one way to apply this teaching to everyday life is for us not to hang on to our worries and troubles or to our likes and dislikes, and not to take anything personally. This way we allow ourselves the freedom to live in the present. So I think it's an important teaching, that one, for moment to moment. You know, if you get attached to things you find pleasing and don't want to give them up. By the way, if you let go of the attachment, doesn't mean you're not going to have those things or those circumstances that you enjoy or whatever. You still have them, but you just don't have attachment that is spoiling it, is clouding your mind while you have these things, you know. So if you realize you are attached to something, realize it's not helpful. In the long term, it's harmful. It makes us go backwards on the Dharma path, you know, creates suffering in the long run. So if you recognize that, don't take it personally. Don't cling to it. What did I say there? You know, let go of any of the worries and troubles, let go of our attachments, our likes and dislikes, all of these types of things, and don't take things personally. Also, when we're experiencing some negativities, don't hang on to it.